Hi, my name is Bella Gomez. Today I will be talking about the Capitalism and Crime video, and it's going to be from the Marxist criminology perspective. And I have my split screen next to me with notes as well as my iPad next to me as well, so that's what I will be looking at today throughout the video. Just to kind of go really quickly over what the Marxist criminology theory is, it is that crime is rooted in class conflict, economic inequality, and also power imbalances. So this all goes back to class differences and also opportunities that are available for different types of communities around the world. So one of the first things that I'm going to be answering is how do the examples and explanations in the video that I had to watch show the link between economic inequality, power, and criminal behavior. And so inequality between the social classes can cause people who are committing these crimes to be more desperate. So essentially this ties back to the resources that these communities have available to them in their respective neighborhoods or even in the city. So if some specific neighborhoods in, let's say, a wealthy city, one of the bigger cities like Dallas or Houston, in some lower income neighborhoods, they might not have the same resources that these higher income neighborhoods have simply because they are in a different wealthy, like income status. They have different jobs more than likely depending on where they live. And so wealthier individuals, so let's say that they live in these nicer neighborhoods, they're usually let off a little bit easier whenever it comes to like these crimes or criminal behavior that can come from this. So this could be like white collar crimes or even corporate crimes, so done in bigger corporations. And so the power differences as well. So another thing from the link between power and criminal behavior is that the wealthier people's opinions are usually valued a little bit more because they're seen as this like higher up and they're above society simply because they make more money. And so tying it to criminal punishment, poorer crimes, so people that are in these lower tax brackets and they also just have lower income households, they're usually harshly punished because they're seen as delinquents and that they're just doing these things just for the love of the game, when that's not the case at all, when it could be just true desperation. And the wealthier people, their crimes are often dismissed because they're seen as they don't know what they're doing. It's just kind of like a mindless thing that they're doing because they make so much money. And then to address the second question, which is how might capitalism shape who commits crime, who is labeled as a criminal, and how laws are enforced. So in terms of just, I guess, how laws are enforced, and also just who's labeled as a criminal, this all has to go back to selective enforcement, which is just essentially focusing on a specific type of crime that's being committed. So if street crime is a little bit more popular, they're going to focus mainly on that because they see that as a bigger threat since there's such a widespread of these criminal activities or behaviors going around in the city or in a neighborhood. So let's say that street crime would be the one that's the most popular. They would get a little bit more attention than, let's say, bigger crimes that are being committed with more money that is being taken from something. So this would be, again, white-collar crimes or corporate crimes. And so capitalism also prioritizes income rather than legitimate issues, which ties back again to the fact that these people that are committing like the street crimes, let's say, these are going to be people that just really have no other options depending on their income or anything like that, so they just resort to these crimes to get what they need quick and fast. And also the laws, again, they reflect the interests of the upper class. So this would also be that they want to try to eradicate homelessness. I know that in Houston, there's a really big issue with homeless people in the downtown area. There's a bridge that takes you straight into downtown, and there's a bunch of homeless people right there. They don't like people camping out in there, and also just in the center of downtown too. They usually try to get rid of them near the theater district. The third question would be current examples that have to do with reflecting the Marxist ideas. So this has to be with like something that's been kind of dismissed a little bit. And one of the first things that I had put down was the Wells Fargo false accounts. So whenever this was going on, a lot of the executives that were a part of this, they avoided any type of charges. And the second one, which is the biggest one, would be our current president, Donald Trump. He is often, his crimes are always being pushed off to the side. He is a 34, he has 34 charges of federal, he has 34 federal charges, I'm sorry, that he was found guilty of. And in those 34 charges, he was paying money to prostitutes, which is illegal, in the city of New York. And he was impeached twice for storming the Capitol in January 6th of 2021, and also withholding military aid for Ukraine in the Ukraine war. A lot of those things were always pushed off, and it is seemed to know that he's still in office. And then the last thing that I have written down here is that he has 25 women, along with a couple others that have actually formally come against him in a court, I believe. But he has had 25 plus women come forward about him with sexual misconduct allegations. And there's many more. This is only a few of them. And he's still in office. So this is just one of the major things, especially since it's so relevant because he is our president. Yeah. So finally, the fourth question would be, how could these insights help criminologists create fairer laws or crime prevention? And so ultimately, criminologists could focus on addressing the actual root of these crimes. So instead of just focusing on what they did, they need to focus on why they did it. They need to look into the neighborhoods that they come from, the jobs that they have, the resources that they have, and really address those things and make sure that they're getting the adequate care that they need, because everyone deserves equal treatment at the end of the day. Everyone is equal no matter how much money you make or what you do for your job. It all comes back to that we're human. And another thing that they could do is that they could push for a more fair law enforcement for all classes of society. So again, tying back to the fact that everyone is human at the end of the day, and that no one should be treated differently just because of how much money they make or how many opportunities that they have for themselves, just because of the life that they've created for themselves, because not everyone has the same opportunities to be able to go to a higher university or receive higher education. Even like community college is still not accessible for these lower income families, because they don't even have the option to take the loan out because they don't know how they would pay that back. And that is essentially all that I have. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.